Yo, yo, yo. So, today I'm coming at you with a video about chaos magic, chaos witches, chaos energy, and how one might come to terms with the fact that they indeed are a chaos witch. What are the personality traits? Some of them. Now, the way I would start by saying that your life experience, the way you see the world, the events that have happened to you throughout all your life are very important and intricate part in your path and journey in being a chaos witch. So keep that in mind, that your life experience and the events that have happened to you, that have kind of molded you into you, are part of your magical chaos journey. So the way I would describe the aura, the essence, the vibe of a chaos magician is punk rock. Like there is this sense of rebellion, this sense of anti-establishment. Now it doesn't mean that you're like, don't respect authority, respect my authority, or you're like, fuck the police. It doesn't necessarily mean that, but it's more like the essence, like it's something you feel internally, that you kind of are an anarchist, a little bit of a rebel. Now, it also is very highly possible that you've experienced or are experiencing a form of loneliness, a form of you being too weird to fit in. Like let's say you are from a conservative family where you just speak a completely different language, like you're out there, you're a little wild, you're like a hippie or something. And your family doesn't get you, or you're at school, or you're at school, you may be younger, you in the interest that you had when you were younger were so kind of ahead of your time, like they were so different, maybe more adult than some of the kids from your school, and you felt like you could not express yourself, or you did express yourself and you ended up being bullied, or you're at a workplace that's kind of very strict and you feel like you don't fit in, and when you get home you let your freak flag fly. Now this sort of experiences, whether you are and also you might have had like a little bit of an ugly duckling story, whether or not you are male or female, like you were not the prettiest or coolest girl or boy in the school, but maybe later on you kind of grew into your looks and stuff, and this kind of can sort of reside a little rebellion inside of you, because you feel like you weren't accepted as who you were back then. So if you didn't deserve me at my diddy, you don't deserve me at my da-da-da, that whole mentality. So now it might be so important to you to be seen as exactly who you are. Like you really want people to know what is your persona. Like you kind of portray your personality very strongly, because you felt like you weren't understood as who you are, as yourself. So now it's so important to you that you are seen and understood as exactly who you are, like in your head. And this may lead to you almost taking on like a character, because it's like you want it to be clear that this is who I am. So it can kind of translate into you being very critical of yourself in a weird inverted way, where you just want to make sure you are seen as who you are, that you don't blend in with the masses, that this is who I am. Now, something that kind of relates to this is that I've noticed chaos magicians heavily relate to movies, comic books, musicians, fictional characters, you kind of always perhaps related almost more to like fictional characters than real life idols, let's say. And you may take on these little personality traits from different films and or comic book characters or different musicians or whatnot. And it reflects in everything, kind of like in every aspect of your life. So let's say you love vintage 50s stuff. Now you quite possibly like dress like a pinup girl or a rockabilly, or you have t-shirts that rep your favorite films, like it's like you wanna make it clear. It's sort of everything is personalized, everything is kind of made to fit to your aesthetic, and that really goes sort of goes into the fact that it's just important to you now to be seen as who you are. And fear not, you will be. You don't have to like force it, because now we are experiencing this shift where they call it also the rise of the introvert. And we need people who really think outside of the box, and your thoughts are probably very intricate, quite like out there, because even like with chaos magic, it's very mental. I'm pretty sure that Einstein was a chaos magician, but like chaos magic really kind of combines like I call it like systemic science, like the science as our world knows science, and like magic and spirituality and your own level of mental awareness and experiences. So it might be sometimes confusing to you, even that you feel like you believe in the supernatural and magic and stuff, but you also see like a lot of sense in actual science. Now that's very much what, and psychology. Now that is very much what chaos magic, kind of is, how it like forms, and so on. Now, you are probably perfectionist, like a super perfectionist. Now again, because it's so important to you that your projects, your ideas, what's inside of your head comes out exactly how you visioned it. You want people to see your visions come to life exactly the way you thought them. And this level of perfectionism, and like you have like a high attention to details, like your attention to details is like immaculate. Now this level of attention to details really can lead to you kind of second guessing yourself a little bit, like because you're almost like over perfecting something, and it can lead to you not releasing the project at all, because you do not want to release something that is not true to you, or you release it but you're like so anxious about it and like you second guess it, and or you end up, because editing might be tough to you, so you end up releasing the project but it almost like you feel very anxious about, like it's hard for you to be completely satisfied with it, or you release it and there's this sense of like urgency and like messiness about it, because you just like end up just like kind of throwing it out there, because it just seems like it just plays out in your head. the project, whatever it is, whether it's like you're decorating or you're writing or doing music or putting an outfit together, even like, you name it. So that's one thing I also would say. Now, your style is probably very eclectic, so it's very normal as a chaos magician to feel very drawn to different aspects of magic. It's not just, Celtic, it's not just voodoo, it's not just runes, it's not just, it's just kind of all of it. It's, all aspects of different like magical things and non-magical things, but like you love eclectic things and you're very open to new information, like new experiences. Now you have infinity to words, like you love words, you love to spice up the way you speak, the way you explain things, the way you describe things with words, like they really speak to you. And you find words really beautiful and satisfying. And there's probably something very specific or like amazing about the way you speak. Like people really pay attention to that. Like something about the way you speak is just very catching to the ear and the eye, probably. If this feels like kind of hurried and hasty, it's because I've been cut off now 3 times or 2 times as I've been filming this video, so I have to kind of keep it up. Maybe I will do a 2-parter. I'm just hoping I will not get cut off this time. And now you might be someone who often says like, I got this. This is my controlled chaos, my controlled mess. Like people might not get like, how do you make sense of what you just wrote, or da 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 da, or how do you find something in this apartment, or your apartment is decorated very like different colors and different things, and you find it very peaceful and soothing, but other people are like, whoa, this is quite out there, But like I said, like the words can be misleading because chaos is, something organized. I have to read a quote from Witcher. Toss a coin to the Witcher. I love that. I love that song, by the way. It's such a good song. And, that show, I hope it comes back, So, they say in The Witcher, magic is organizing chaos, and while oceans of mystery remain, we have decided that this requires 2 things, balance and control. Without them, chaos will kill you. So, to piggyback onto that, it's so important that you channel your energy into something, because otherwise you quite possibly will end up very anxious and like restless almost. Like if you are drawn to chaos energy, you need to channel that into something, whatever it is to you. You don't have to meditate if you don't want to, but try to channel it into something that you find pleasant. It's important. Now, kind of also piggybacking on this is that you might be a little prone to accidents. Now, fear not, in other words, you might find yourself to be a little clumsy. Now, that is sort of a way of chaos energy speaking to you, and you actually might be accidentally doing like practicing chaos magic while accidents are happening to you. So this is a weird example, but let's say you're drinking coffee and you somehow like drop the coffee mug and it breaks. Now you're like, oh shit, not again, I broke my mug again. So now you are obviously you start to clean the mess up. You start to pick up the broken pieces of the coffee mug off the floor. Now as you are doing this, something inside of you may make you pay attention to the actual process of you cleaning up the mess. So you might end up like counting the pieces of the coffee mug, like there might be like 12 broken pieces, and somehow the number 12 seems like it's something of importance. Like you don't understand why. I just broke a coffee mug. Why does it feel like this feels like important? But it quite possibly is. And if you find yourself having whatever accident it is, and something about amidst of that accident kind of caught your attention, like pay attention to that, because that is probably not in vain. Now this is why it's important to learn kind of how to listen to the chaos, because it will kind of overtake you. I'm not here to scare you. It's not scary. Chaos energy really is the prominent energy in this world. And like I said, it's now time, like we need people who think outside of the box. And we're gonna see this sort of fusion of, I believe, we're gonna see a lot more of this fusion of, kind of spirituality and then like science and like this sort of outside of the box thinking. We need these type of things right now. So yeah, God, I'm just making sure I get everything here. You might be a little bit of an adrenaline junkie, or you fantasize of being in scenarios or doing activities that are kind of adrenaline infused. Now, because adrenaline itself is very connected to chaos energy. So whether you are or are not doing, chaos, whether you are or not doing sort of these adrenaline infused activities, you kind of like fantasize almost over that. Like you might kind of daydream of being this sort of adrenaline, extreme person, adventure person, which is cool, but you don't want to be like a dumbly brave person, like just stay safe. And some, zodiac signs that are prone to chaos magic. Now, if you are not one of these signs, it doesn't mean you cannot be a chaos witch. But I'm just saying these signs are kind of naturally prone, drawn to chaos energy. Are Taurus, Capricorn, Scorpio, Virgo, Gemini, Aquarius, and Aries. Now I have no time to go in depth why these signs in specifically, but I might do a two-parter of this chaos magic thing anyway. So yeah, and you might be a little bit hedonistic in nature, so you just love to indulge and just like enjoy everything good in life. It's just something that, it's just something that really you just really enjoy. Like you are kind of indulgent type of person. Now, although you are highly intelligent, like highly, you might have difficulty in areas like math, because this is kind of like your brain's way of rebelling against like sort of systemic way of thinking. Like I said, it's important as a chaos magician to constantly be open to new information and think outside of the box. Like Yoda says, you must unlearn what you've learned so that you can kind of absorb the Jedi energy. So it's kind of the same way. So if you are bad at math, it doesn't mean you're dumb. It actually means that you just want to stay open to, you want to kind of be free. It's not that you think of it kind of like, it's more subconscious thing that happens. So yeah, so I'm terrified that I will be cut off, prematurely here. So how I would kind of end this up is that something that I wrote about chaos magic, that how it feels, kind of how it makes you feel is like, how they teach you if you go swimming in the ocean, and they teach you that if a wave comes, you must dive under the wave so that the wave doesn't hit you and take you over. Now, if you are a chaos magician, you almost want to like defy the odds. Like you're like, I'm not gonna dive under. I want to feel the full impact of the wave. It's not that you don't respect the ocean or the power of nature, but it's more like you feel and wanna believe that you carry the equal strength of the wave, of the impact of the wave. Like you kind of refuse to believe that as if you are not as powerful as the wave. Like again, the rebellion thing. So it's great, but everything in balance. And so avoid dogma. That's the number one rule in chaos magic. So there is no mistakes. If you feel like you are in a sort of against the wall, or you're in a dead end, you're not. Like there's always, even the dead end is probably something you can kind of turn around. Like don't stay there, don't stay and like wallow in things, because there is no accidents in chaos magic. There really isn't. Yeah, so I think one of the important advice that I would give you is that you like I said about the channeling, so find something you can channel your energy, and don't be so hard on yourself. Like people will see who you are, like they will. You don't have to worry about that. Just like keep living your truth, and everything else will fall into place. So that's it for now, and oneness, namaste, and have fun with this.